What's up, y'all? It's your boy Youlle. It's Sunday, the 20th, 2015. How is everybody? You're on the backside of your weekend, y'all. I hope that you were spiritually protected, navigating from the negativity, and you're getting ready to start a new week, a new experience, a new revelation that is all defined by you. So it is 7. 7 in the morning. I know somebody's saying, Gerald, why are you up so early? Actually, I've been up since 5. And I really believe it was my angels that woke me up because just so happened I had my channel open, and with my subscription feeds, whenever someone does an update, it comes up. And I had saw a thumbnail from the Amats. For those who do not know them, they are therapists uh, in our community, and they do great works. They've been around for many, many years. They're a tandem couple that cover and discuss pretty much all facets of relationship advice as well as individual. But you know me, I got my coffee, and I got this, I don't want to say heaviness on my spirit because I know it's not my energy, but I got this feeling. I feel this energy right now that somebody is waking up, and in a nutshell, the deceiver has been deceived. Before I go in that, give me a second. See, Tyson he's up. For some of y'all, I hadn't seen him in a minute. Let's see if I come here. Come here. There you go. There he is. All right, man. Okay. All right, get down. All right. Yeah, he's 90, almost 90 something pounds. He's a blessing, but he ain't gonna get in the way of what I gotta convey because this message right here is specifically for somebody. Hold on. Come on. Let's get in the kennel. Yep, the deceiver has now been deceived. They say imitation is the greatest form of flattery. But I believe being an original is eternal. Because see, it's only one you. There'll never be another. Not in this existence. So it's very imperative that you claim your life. But to do so, you have to allow yourself to grow. And the only way to grow is you have to allow yourself to be still. But I got a feeling somebody, maybe somebody that you may know, has had this mindset for a long time, and it's worked for them conveniently without any accountability, only to bring them to this place. See, I got a feeling that somebody this morning unfortunately had a reality check. Some truth was revealed that they never thought that they would hear. Perhaps it may have been something that was discovered, or something that was shown by way of anger. And now the deceiver has now been deceived. It was all good yesterday, so they thought, because they had a mindset, if it's not broke, don't fix it. But little do they know, it was broken from the jump. And now the rubber has ran out of road, and now it's bumpy. See, y'all, you have a choice when it comes to your life. That is to exist or contribute. But I'm a firm believer of this. See, what do I always say? God gives you two gifts the moment you take your first breath. The first one is to love yourself unconditionally. The second is free will. So that means you got choice. So to have choice, you got to be actively there. It doesn't matter if it's made indirectly, because it's still a reflection of you, but it's still yours. See, I have a feeling that somebody's waking up to an illusion that they thought what was good was only an illusion. And they don't like what they see. But if they only took a step back, just to breathe, to reflect, to allow themselves to be still, they could have seen the signs that were there all along. See, Youlle got much love for you, and Youlle will continue to pray in your behalf. Why? Because somebody prayed for me. So I see your worth because I see mine. And your life and your work still not done are required to be fulfilled. But see, we have free will again. Sure, there are going to be times where your life seems like it is not working for you. See, that's when the transparency and the clarity comes. Sometimes it comes by tears. Sometimes it comes by what you thought was real, the canvas or the prop falls away. You know how it does in the movies. You see they got the prop of the background of the town, and then all of a sudden someone kicks the support up and it just falls back and ain't nothing there. See, I got a feeling the deceiver now realizes that they have been deceived. So there is an obligation to you and all that you stand for. And as long as you have air in your lungs, guess what? You can change it. But if you do not, that is your choice. And you will join the legion of others that allowed their situation to define them. These are the people that allowed their fears and their setbacks to define what their tomorrow is. These are the people that have a love affair with their denial and are afraid that I'm not good enough. I'm here to tell you, you are. I'm challenging each and every one of you by the sound of my voice. When's the last time you told yourself you love you? Wholeheartedly. If it feels like an unsettling feeling by saying those words, that means you're not doing it enough. And no, I'm not saying it from a place of conceit. I'm saying this from a place of compassion. I'm saying that you're not giving yourself the credit that is due. But if your credit was built off of deception, forged off of denial, forged off of the merits that were your uncertainty, well, guess what? You weren't living your life. You were allowing your circumstances to define you. So now the deceiver has been deceived, and now they feel alone. They feel the pain of the reality of looking at the bridges that they burned. And then they realize that their emotional well-being was left on the other side. What was on the other side was the people that genuinely loved you. What was on the other side was the things you needed so that you can truly shine. Oh, Mr. Wrong and Mrs. Wrong gallantly brought you across the bridge as they lit the kerosene. Because, see, their whole setup was to destroy your life, to destroy your mind, and ultimately take it. See, you learned those tricks. You learned those traits because, see, the people that you decided to fellowship with had already given up on their lives too, because, see, each one teach one. So the bad habits that you have embraced came from them. Sure, they smiled because you were doing their work. All the while, never going to see the payoff. It's no different than proverbially putting the carrot in front of the rabbit or putting the cart in front of the horse. You go nowhere, only in circles. And for what? To ultimately break down? That was the end goal. But see, guess what? Because you're loved so much, even still to this day, the breakdown was really your preparation for your breakthrough. I know I'm talking to somebody. Because see, now your emotional state is coming in contact with your spiritual being. That little boy and that little girl that's been inside you screaming to stop. Don't go in that room. Don't get in that car. Turn away. You're starting to see them crystal clear. Why you think your dreams are the way they are? Why you think your thoughts are manifesting the way they are? Because it's your life. Don't you realize the greatest gift that was given was the breath of life? So there is a responsibility owed that you must pay back. The payout and the payback is your purpose. So you don't even realize there are people that you still have to do works for. These people are going to learn from your path. Queens and kings, what did I tell you? The road that you walk on through your experience will be the pathways that those connected will walk upon. So it behooves you to invest in your life. So you're going to sit there like a bump in the log, knowing you have dreams and aspirations, waiting to be released to the earth, to the world. Why? Because of him? Because of her? But they love you, right? If they love you so much, why aren't they supporting you? The truth is, misery loves company. Oh, sure. He has taught you things about your body that you never thought you would ever experience in your life. But yet, in the back of your mind, you still long for a ring. You still long with the thought, when will I be Mrs.? When can I truthfully stand up and be Mr.? Those things are rightfully owned the moment you claim your purpose. You can't claim your purpose until you claim your life. And when you claim your life, you got to own your responsibility of where you've been. This is what wisdom is. But the question I need to ask you is this. What is blocking you from loving yourself? What has got you in such a chokehold or a stronghold that you won't claim you? Because you laid up in someone else's world? You didn't build that. That was before you. And the moment that you decide to claim your life, guess what? Someone else is going to see that view too. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but just know this. If it didn't come from your merits, it won't last. It's no different than a prop on a stage. And you're the one that's playing the key role. You're the star of your own pain. But see, society don't want you to know that, Queens. Society wants you to be broken and fragmented at all costs. See, they've got people waiting on the back burner that's going to subscribe you those pills for your mind. They've got doctors and therapists that are going to give you things needed for your body because you continue to mistreat you. And the question is why? Because you know how to get it in now? The reason, you know what? You want to know why your sex drive is the way it is? It's through the roof. Two reasons. Number one, it's because you lack intimacy with yourself. And you're using your sexuality to validate your existence. I know I'm talking to somebody. It seems like the only time you feel like you're alive is when someone's on top of you. Or they got you doing something strange for some change. I probably got some people clicking off this video right now because you know I'm talking to your spirit. But see, I love you. I'm telling you what you need to know. And I'm not going to BS you anymore. You deal with that in your day-to-day. Why you think he don't come around until the sun goes down? Or when you go to where he is, You don't go nowhere but on your back. Why? Because you're dealing with a little boy. Any fool can have a any fool can have monetary gain. But guess what? How long do you think you're gonna hold on to it? It's the same approach you do with a baby that's crying. You show it something to distract it, to get its attention, to get the outcome you deserve. Peace. But instead of having peace of mind and comfort, he gets a piece of you, literally. She gets to control you physically. And you're wondering why you've got low self-esteem. The apple don't fall far from the tree. And because it's shiny don't mean there ain't no worm in it too. See, right now, we are in some divine times, y'all, because see, I told you, the media that is being conveyed on the screen, in your ear, is not for your best interest. It is meant for you to discern and place God first in all you do, because you're under attack spiritually. I ain't got to tell you that, queens. Some of you are so, your judgment is so clouded right now. The only time you think you got logic is because you have to you got to take a hit. You got to get that morning swig in. And you feel a certain way because your shame cannot bear the brunt of your actions. Why you think you got them scars on your body? Why you think you got that emptiness in your heart? But I know in the back of your mind you're saying, but he's the love of my life, Gerald. I'll do anything for him. But yet he hasn't shown you a ring. He hasn't shown you that he has the responsibility to protect your heart. How about make you emotionally safe? Oh, he taught you how to drop, lock, and pop. He loves that. Because every chance he gets, he exploits you. Only to set you up for potential ransom or extortion. Because see, the moment that you decide to not do what she or he asks you to do, he throws that little emotional trigger. You better do this or else. I ain't got to tell you this. I ain't got to tell you. And what you fail to realize is, just like my words and faces on this screen, it is going to be on the net forever. But see, that's not the end all be all, y'all, because see, a setback doesn't define who you are. It's to set you up to where you can go. But you got to be able to look at that person in the mirror. Why you think you feel a certain way, my queens, when someone asks you, well, how many partners you been with? You quickly say, it's none of your business. But really when you think about it, it is their business, because you're sharing your body with them. And if you respect yourself, you should respect them and be truthful. That means you got to be honest. And when it comes to your life, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? But let me tell you something. As long as you keep chasing them, You'll never find you. Oh, you'll find them because it's pain, it's shame, it's guilt, it's denial. And, uh, and then eventually, guess what? It's depression. And then a whole slew of other habits. You can't have one aspect without the others. Why won't you admit to yourself that there's a hole in your heart dying to be filled from the love of someone else? Some of you been suffering with mother and daddy issues. And the sad thing about it is, they're still very much alive now. My queens, do you realize your psychology is made up by your father? So if you don't have a relationship with your father, why do you think your relationships are the way they are? You don't even know who you are yet. And which goes back to what I was saying in previous videos. If you are under the age of 35, you don't know who you are yet. Yet. Oh, you know what your body can do. You know what your body can stand. Because some of you have willfully and unwillfully allowed your body to be abused. In the back of your mind thinking, well, if I ground my feet like Youlle says, they will change. No, that's free will. And the person that you are seeing is the person they are. But here's a divine caveat in that. The reason why you are attracted to them is because they share the same personality traits found in you. So now the deceiver has been deceived, and you don't like the reality of your choices. You don't like the fact of how you got where you are, and you feel alone. You're not alone, my king. You're not alone, my queen. Let me tell you something. Your breakthrough will come the moment that you allow that breakdown to break off those things you don't need. If you spend the majority of your time laying on your back, playing Anatomy 101, maybe you're doing that because either A, someone sees you're insecure and they're preying upon you, because predators never tell you the truth. They wait to be exposed. Or perhaps you have to admit that with these disappointments, you need validation. You need clarity. You need to invest and love yourself more. Why won't you get a second opinion? What do I always say? Talk to a counselor. Talk to a life coach. Talk to someone that does not have an agenda underlining. I ain't got to tell you. Look at your circle. Your girlfriends are doing the same things they've been doing as long as y'all met. Only thing different is you got a couple more kids, your hips have gotten wider, and your attitude has gotten even worse. Why? Because you're suffering from depression. Sure, you got a PhD in getting it in. You can get them like the best of them. But isn't it coincidental they don't stick around? they don't stick around because they was never supposed to be there to begin with. The devil's a liar. That's why you'll come to see this. If you took the time to ground your feet and take accountability of the things you know that do not work, that means you must be transparent. That means you must be vulnerable to yourself. You'll also come to see that you desperately want to be loved. But no one can love you until you decide to love yourself first. Why do you think you walk around with an anger disposition so much? Or you see that person that is so animated, the volume is on 20 or worse. They just don't care. Because these people desperately want to be acknowledged. And they're using the tools that they only have. So, if it's your mouthpiece, being charming and putting on that social mask, or worse, you're using your body. Queens, the man that is going to love you will be a spiritual man. He don't care about where you've been. He wants you to press forward and walk into your purpose. See, he's going to be the one that will have the keys to the other side of your life. He will come with compassion and empathy, clarity, but love. But he's not your dad. And I think that a lot of women today self-sabotage their heart all the time. And it all goes back to that one disappointment. What was that one disappointment that put you on that path? That you felt that as long as I have a physical connection, it'll make up for the emotional connection. Some of you even some of your denial is so strong, you've even convinced yourself, you said, well, you know what? I have been able to separate love from sex. It's just physical. No, it's not just physical. You're not just physical. You're spiritual. That's why it feels numb. That's why it feels like an action. That's why it feels like work. Ain't no love in it. So why are you putting in an environment where there is no? So if there's no love, so guess what? What else is left? If there's no love, there's no empathy. There's no compassion. So if there's no love, guess what? Ain't nothing but hate. You know I'm telling the truth. Look in the mirror. Look at your eyes. Look at the weariness in your face. But somebody right now said, well, I got a fat ass though. I got these titties. Guess what? It's called maturity. And what you have right now is being squandered. You know why? Because the one that is supposed to walk with you and show you the other side of your life, every time you step and do things you're not doing, you're taking away from the person that you're supposed to be with ultimately. That's why it's very important to prepare. That's why you hear this. There's no good men, Gerald. Well, if your reality only shows you no good men, that's a direct correlation because you're not a good woman. You got to own it. If you think the only way to a man's heart is between your legs, I'm sorry. That's just a rest stop. You will never get your name changed, nor your life, because you don't see your worth. It starts with you. But on a different note, it's time for you guys to soul search. Some of you misconstrued having a high libido for an active sex addiction. Come on, be honest with yourself. Some of you have slept with well over 100 people. And the question I want to ask is this. Sure, they're going to give you trinkets, little pacifiers, so they can have their way with you. But when the deed is done, and you in that shower, washing off the grief, where are they now? And worse, you may have attracted the one person that's in whole sole purpose is to destroy you. See your worth, my kings and queens. Love yourself more. Because I'm telling you, when you finally do the work, I'm not talking playing today, tomorrow, today, playing hopscotch with your life, double dutch with your life. When you fully commit to you, your life will change. Your environment will change. The clarity of things that were hidden in plain sight will be revealed. You will come to see who genuinely had your best interest. You'll see it. That's why Stevie Wonder had the song, where does it go? I go where they not go. They can't go where I go. That's what I put on my title. That came from a Stevie Wonder song. If you've never heard the song, listen to it. Powerful, classic song. But that's Stevie Wonder. What do you expect? But if you choose not to hear anything, if you hear because you ain't got nothing to do, or you just comfortable in your skin, I'm gonna still pray for you, but don't be surprised what is waiting for you outside your door. You gotta remember, y'all, the devil is real. Oh, you mean all I gotta do is bring her what she wants and I control her life? What about the people that are connected to you? They control them too. See your worth, y'all. And if those people are struggling with addiction, give yourself the best gift that you could ever give yourself. Go talk to somebody. Go talk to somebody. You got a full-time job? You got insurance. Your first 2 visits are for free. The worst thing they can do is say, you know what? You're on path. Don't change a thing. Or they can offer and show you something different so that the best you can come out. Because I'm going to tell you what, you'll come to see that not only the same struggles you're dealing with, so is your circle. But they won't tell you that. They won't. God's praying for you. You know I am. I see your worth. And for that, it helps me discern mine. Love don't hurt, y'all. But what is the point on doing anything if love is not in it? You walking around, no, just existing? Nah, that ain't your walk. And maybe this experiences that you've been through is to set up for the wisdom and insight that you're going to give someone else. You ever thought about that? Love to hear from you. Have a blessed week. And always place God first in all that you do. Love to hear from you. Bye.